Haroon won that first 500 in the locally constructed Marmon Wasp. The day was a huge success, and the greatest spectacle in racing was born. We enter the track between turns 1 and 2 onto one of our short chutes, each of which measure 1/8 of a mile and are located at the north and south ends of the Speedway. There are 4 turns, each a 1/4 mile in length from entrance to exit, and 2 straights, each measuring 5/8 of a mile. Altogether, these add up to a total track length of 2.5 miles. You're probably beginning to feel the effects of our banking as we enter turn 2. Each of our turns has 9 degrees and 12 minutes of banking. If you look to the left, some of the viewing mounds are coming into sight. These are located throughout the infield of the track and are used by general admission ticket holders. Coming into view on the right are the Turn 2 suites. Constructed in 1973, these suites offer a close-up vantage point to the action on track for VIP guests and sponsors. As we ride along the backstretch, keep in mind the track you're traveling is exactly the same as its 1909 layout, only the surface has changed. If you're wondering what happened to all those bricks, most of them are still beneath us, buried under several layers of asphalt. If Indy cars were on the track right now, you would see them speeding by at roughly 235 miles an hour. This would allow them to cover a football field in 9/10 of a second. For safety purposes, we keep our buses restrained to a more leisurely pace. You may have noticed a golf course on either side of us. The original course was opened in 1929 and underwent a major redesign in 1992 to accommodate PGA specifications and the modern game. There are now 4 holes on the inside of the track and 14 beyond the back straightaway. The LPGA and Senior PGA Tours have held tournaments here. Another event added in October of 2016 saw sections of the golf course used as an obstacle course with inflatable pylons set up for the planes of the Red Bull Air Race. Events taking place over the track sky are nothing new. The very first competition held upon opening in 1909 was a balloon race, and in June of 1910 the Wright brothers were part of a major aviation showcase here. The official IMS logo, the wings and wheel, highlight the automotive and aviation history of the Speedway. Up ahead is turn 3. As we travel through the turn, be sure to look to your right along the wall. You will notice the SAFER barrier in front of the hard concrete. SAFER is an acronym for Steel and Foam Energy Reduction. This safety feature was developed by researchers at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in conjunction with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was first installed here in 2002. The SAFER barrier is responsible for saving many drivers from serious injury and can now be found in nearly all major racing facilities in the United States. Famed World War I flying ace Eddie Rickenbacker purchased the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1927. Captain Rickenbacker actually raced in the 500 before he learned how to fly an airplane. He successfully guided the track through the Great Depression and installed many major safety improvements, most notably green and yellow warning lights in 1935. During World War II, the track was shut down as the nation's attention shifted to the conflict overseas. Unlike the First World War, where the ground served as an aviation repair and refueling depot, the track was largely unused from 1942 to 45 and began to be reclaimed by nature. At the urging of 3-time Indy 500 winner Wilbur Shaw, Terre Haute businessman Tony Holman saved the track from demolition in 1945, purchasing it for $750,000. The facility is still privately owned and operated by the Holman George family. Here we are on the front straight. The first thing you might have noticed is the canyon effect created by the grandstands on both sides of the track. They may be empty now, but on race day for the 500, every one of these seats will be occupied. There is no sight quite like it in all of sports. You will notice a wall separating the racing portion of the front straight from pit lane. The original version of this was installed in 1957, and it may have been the first of its kind anywhere in the world. This innovation allowed an area for cars to slow while being separated from the high-speed action on track. During the early days of the 500, pit stops would last several minutes, often with a relief driver temporarily taking over for the exhausted original. Today, IndyCar crews can change a full set of tires and fuel up a car in less than 10 seconds. Coming into view on the left is Victory Podium. The unique design of this structure is a combination of the trophies of the Indianapolis 500 and Brickyard 400. Both can frequently be seen on display within the museum. The tall building adjacent to Victory Podium is the Pagoda. The current structure opened in 2000 and is the location for timing and scoring, master control, media broadcasts, and private suites. It is the equivalent in height to a 13-story building and offers a breathtaking vantage point of our track and downtown Indianapolis from its top floors. There have been several different versions of the Japanese-style pagoda throughout the history of the track, dating back to its earliest days. Running through the pagoda and onto the racing surface is a link to the past, the Yard of Bricks. Every brick you see dates back to the original surface in 1909. The front stretch remained predominantly brick until October of '61, when the entire track was paved with asphalt, with the exception of this narrow strip. These bricks remain as a fitting testament to all of the drivers, past and present, who have come to central Indiana in search of racing immortality.
The checkered flag is out! Goodyear makes a move! Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second! Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500!
It was the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500 in 1992, when Al Unser Jr. beat Scott Goodyear by 43 one-thousandths of a second. A unique tradition has developed involving the bricks you are about to visit. From 1911 to 1994, the Indianapolis 500 was the only race held here at the Speedway. Beginning in 1994, a second race was added, the Brickyard 400 for the NASCAR series. After winning the third race in '96, Dale Jarrett wanted to do something special to pay homage to the storied history of the track. At the urging of his crew chief Todd Parrott, he made his way to the Yard of Bricks, bent over,